Everybody and welcome to Swedish black metal. Shall we say svart metal? Oh, jokes aside, this one is Grift, which I have previously featured here in the channel with the previous release Ödets. This is Budet, and visually pretty much continues the same black and white grey style, which is, I guess, very, very fitting. The music being kind of a natural in colors, kind of a dark and not so happy-go-lucky kind of thing, still not being uber satanic darkness or whatever. Here is the inside inlay. As you can see, this is all about nature and plants, which is, I guess, a certain kind of visual commentary about the music here within. Now, this is a one-man project from Sweden, and there is very, very rural feeling. Now, so many times these one-man projects in black metal are kind of considered as bedroom black metal. Well, if those bands, which are depressive and suicidal and all that stuff, done by one person, are called one-man bedroom black metal projects, this could be really said like one-man barn metal project, because this really sounds like it was done in countryside, maybe in some rural building, barn, outhouse, I don't know, maybe even a tent, sauna, like or bastu, like it said in Swedish. Now, musically, this is a really interesting case, because this is not how you picture your typical black metal, not especially if you take a look at the Nordic black metal, or even more so Swedish black metal. Now, so many bands like Marduk, Dark Funeral, or even bands like Arcanum, Armageddon, Craft, they are either raw or fast tempo or melodic or something on those combinations, and they have this very kind of a dark, sinister, violent motion, and in terms of the feeling is more about darkness or just war. Now, Grift is a totally different beast. This is much like traveling to countryside where not too many people live, and that place is filled, I guess, in my wild imagination, with lakes, forests, fields, maybe seaside, and definitely lots of animals. That more animals than human beings anyway, much like the place where I'm actually residing. And as such, this has this kind of nature-oriented, or nature-driven rather, feeling where this one man is, I don't know, chopping wood, warming up the house with the particular pieces of wood, and then kind of reflecting these emotions and thoughts into this kind of music. Now, lots of this music is in fact done with non-metallic instruments like harmonica and the stuff, so there is as much, I guess, kind of a folky tune feeling as much as there is this kind of a black metal tune feeling. Now, for example, there are parts when there's nothing metallic about the songs as such, but there's kinds of screamy vocals are still present there. And the overall feeling is kind of atmospheric, but also kind of a melancholic. So, having no clue what this is actually singing about, I can only make my imagination once again run wild and think about it. It must be something kind of a dark and maybe depressive in some ways, but also very kind of related to much nature. Now, people who want their black metal kind of a modern and, you know, very dark and kind of violent and all that stuff might feel that this is way too different for them. People who dislike stuff like what Ulver was doing with their first albums, having this much nature-driven kind of a feeling background, they might not be finding Grift's music that good. But those who are not very shy about combining these kind of a folky tunes with black metal, and not still being kind of a folk black metal, but just very, very nature-like, and don't mind this kind of organic sound, this is definitely something of an album that could be very pleasing to that kind of audience. Now, this is definitely an interesting take on this kind of particular kind of black metal, and I'm pretty sure that most audience out there are not ready for Grift's music. And to be honest, I don't find this album as good as Ödets. Ödets, which was released in 2017. While this is definitely interesting, I guess it's even too much gone away from black metal. Some people it might be a blessing, and some people it's just sheer disappointment. And then there must be this marginal group who will find both styles very interesting. So definitely a different and interesting album, but not for everybody, not even in terms of black metal audience. With this information, you click these Bandcamp links or listen to it on Spotify and figure out whether or not this is your cup of tea. It's different and definitely worth listening to. Thank you for watching, take care and enjoy some Grift.